And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being here. And well, we just get this out of the way because old Vinnie Mac is in the news once again. Because this time, well, it's mm, about a racist WE because the former writer, right? See, former writer is suing WWE because she was fired for pushing back against racist creative ideas. And from Brandon Thurton from WrestleNomics, and here it is, right here. Former WWE writer Brittany Abrams is suing the company and individual staff, including Executive Chairman Vince McMahon, alleging discriminatory treatment, harassment, hostile work environment, wrongful termination, unlawful retaliation due to her race, color, and gender. Abrams, who is black, says she was wrongly fired purposely for taking a commemorative chair at WrestleMania in 2022. She alleged that reasoning was a pretext and her termination was actually in retaliation for pushing back against racist creative ideas. Besides WWE, the complaint is leveled against McMahon and current members of the WWE writing staff, Christine Lubero, Ryan Callahan, Jennifer Pepperman, and as well as other former writers or the company, Chris Dunn, Mike Keller. Finally, Stephanie McMahon, former co-CEO, is among the named defendants. Abrams began working for WWE as a temporary writer, working on SmackDown in November 2020. She became a permanent employee in May 2021 until her dismissed in April 2022. In the complaint filed Monday in federal court with the Eastern District of New York, Abrams details multiple instances in which WWE allegedly had talent act out racist stereotypes and pitch other racist concepts that didn't make it to screen. Abrams described working with Bianca Belair and her interactions with fellow writer Chris Dunn and SmackDown lead writer and Abrams supervisor Ryan Callahan. Within, this is from the lawsuit. Within or around plaintiff's Abrams' first 2 weeks of employment with WWE, she shadowed a male white Caucasian writer, defended Dunn, who wrote a backstage scene for Miss Bianca Belair, a black African American female WWE wrestler. Upon information and belief, Miss Belair is one of the two dark-skinned black African American female wrestlers. The said scene included offensively racist and stereotypical jargon with plaintiff found objectionable. By the way, by way of example of according to the script, Dunn intended Miss Belair that the said black female WE wrestler to say, quote, don't make me take off my earrings and beat your ass, which is lines based on cruel, ugly stereotypes of dark-skinned black women. Plaintiff asserts that Miss Belair uttering that line was and still is negatively stereotype of race and gender, and plaintiff found it offensive and still finds it offensive. Prior to the writing of this scene, many of the WWE writers commonly complained that they didn't know what to do with Miss Belair. As a result, plaintiff undertook research into Miss Belair's background and discovers a fascinating family tree, including an aunt who helped desegregate her high school in the 1960s, and an uncle whose contribution to the science to science were well renowned. Dunn allowed plaintiff to write a first draft of Miss Belair's scene, so plaintiff included positive references to Miss Belair's rich family history and sent it to Dunn for feedback. Dunn told plaintiff that the draft looked great. I'm going to make some edits and submit it to Callahan. However, Dunn subjected plaintiff's draft to substantial editing, including inserts that said racial and gender stereotypes. That same night, plaintiffs complained about the racially offensive and discriminatory nature of the scene to one of her WE superiors. Defendant Callahan. Plaintiff emailed Callahan and said, I know I'm new. I'm not trying to be disrespectful or step on Dunn's or anyone's toes, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Miss Belair's scene includes racial jargon and offensive stereotypes, particularly her go home line. Plaintiff also requested clarifications for her protocol on moving forward with her complaint. In conversation with Miss Belair, the following day, Miss Belair informed plaintiff that she told Dunn 3 different times that I don't want to say that line, but he never listens to me. He puts that line in every week. Miss Ware said the script's discriminatory lines to make her look ghetto. Plaintiff relayed this information to Dunn and politely offered to edit the line. However, despite plaintiff's complaint, I mean, it's not really surprising. Not really surprising, by the way. However, despite plaintiff's complaint, defendants fail and or refuse to take any immediate appropriate correction action in response. Plaintiff never received any form of response from Callahan, verbally nor via email, and Callahan never spoke to plaintiff about her email or the line or the scene. Additionally, WWE's failure and our refusal to address plaintiff's complaint emboldened WWE employees, including Dunn and Callahan, to further discriminate against and to retaliate against plaintiff in response to her protected conduct. By way of example, WWE kept a discriminatory line in the script. Plaintiff was scheduled to shadow Dunn on 2 scenes that day, on which was the said scene with Miss Belair. However, around halfway through the day, Dunn informed plaintiff that she would now shadow Callahan. With plaintiff requested Dunn's assistance, he told plaintiff, "You handle it. It's your scene now." Callahan showed up for the taping of plaintiff's scenes about 90 seconds before they went live, and he never once mentioned plaintiff's email. The complete details about having Reggie dressed in drag, an idea that was shot down only after a writer pressed the issue, Abrams says. It was discussed in the WWE Slack channel before our show that new wrestler Reggie would dress in drag and complete with wig and tights so he can partner with Carmella, a female wrestler, in a tag team match against other female wrestlers. Yeah, Reggie is if you remember, Reggie is a dark-skinned African-American black straight male wrestler. Given the pinch was shared via Slack app, defendants Mr. McMahon and Miss McMahon, as well as other WWE high-ups, including Mr. Pritchard and Mr. Ed Cozy, were included on the thread. Plaintiff co-worker Miss Andrea Listenberger responded to the thread, observing that putting a straight black man in a drag might perpetuate harmful stereotypes that would offend viewers. WWE eventually scrapped that discriminatory pitch, but only in response to a white Caucasian individual protected content in form of Mrs. Listenberger's complaint. Joy. This is not surprising. Exactly. It's like, you're there just to be in this type of stuff. No one listens to the black folk and everything, seeing how harmful stereotypes is. No, it takes a white person to say, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this. Yeah. Then you have Apollo Crews, which I knew this was going to happen. Here it is. Apollo Crews was just being directed to speak with a Nigerian accent and is pointed as another example of racist stereotyping. Of course. WWE forced wrestler Apollo Crews to speak with a Nigerian accent because of his Nigerian lineage. Apollo Crews is a black Nigerian-born male. Plaintiff emailed Callahan and complained about the offensive nature of the requirement for Apollo Crews to speak with a stereotypical and exaggerated Nigerian accent. However, despite plaintiff's complaint, Callahan failed and or refused to take corrective action. As a result, Callahan and WWE forced plaintiff to require Apollo Crews to speak with a radically artificial Nigerian accent. I knew that was bad. I knew it in my heart and soul. The whole thing was BS. Right here, this was all BS. That whole stupid BS type of accent he had. Pure BS. Pure BS. And I hated that stuff. And when he got to NXT, the new NXT, he's dropped that Nigerian stuff. He dropped that quick. He's out speaking, with his natural cadence. It's interesting. An idea also to Shane Thorne, who, as a wrestler, would hunt and capture Reggie, was out. Oh my goodness. Wow, right here. Of course this is happening. An idea to present Shane Thorne as a wrestler who would hunt and capture Reggie was outlined as well in a period that didn't apparently appear on screen. Well, at least we find something worse than Slapjack. Gosh, this company deserves to burn. Let's keep reading. In or around the spring of 2021, Callahan pitched the idea of that a white Caucasian male wrestler with a hunting gimmick would hunt a black male wrestler for fun. In a nutshell, that's a hunting gimmick pitch was for new wrestlers Shane Thorne and Reggie was since Shane is Australian, we should make him a crocodile hunter. And instead of crocodiles, he hunts people. So sequentially, a storyline was pitched by Callahan where Shane would capture Reggie and constantly beat him up, but Reggie will always escape after being captured. Holding Reggie captive in cages was also discussed. Brandon felt Callahan pitch was highly offensive and objectable. Brandon again objected to her superiors racially motivated misconduct, specifically stating that a gimmick where a white man hunting a black African American man for sport is racist. Callahan laughed and sarcastically responded, "Oh, what? Is that a bad thing?" Mm. Oh man. Oh gosh. This isn't this great. WWE, man, just WWE and everything else. Isn't this beautiful, people? Isn't this lovely? We just love this company. Gosh, yeah. Mm. Don't you love it? Love, I mean, actually despise and hate. I just I yeah. Mm. But not surprised. I mean, I'm angry, we can tell, but am I surprised? No. But let's keep reading. Callahan comments and conduct had the purpose of an effect of humiliating and intimidating plaintiff and dramatically altered her work environment for the worse. As the WWE writing team's sole person of color, I mean black, put it right there, plaintiff was devastated that none of her white Caucasian coworkers stepped in and complained about the discriminating and offensive pitch. Of course it is. They're on they're on that same team together, baby. That team's white supremacy. Anyway, afterwards, plaintiff spoke with Mr. Brian Persay, a white conservative WE writer, who revealed that he agreed with plaintiffs that the pitch was racist, but he felt too nervous to speak up in front of Callahan. Yeah. Let's see. Abraham's alleged in the early months of her WWE tenure, she was discriminated against by Jennifer Peppermint, which she raised to human resources. Peppermint discriminatingly treated plaintiff and other black and African American WWE employees poorly compared to her similarly situated white and Caucasian counterparts. Peppermint routinely and justified raised her voice at plaintiff, made rude comments about the plaintiff and other black and African American WWE employees. Peppermint would just snap at plaintiff and just similarly situated black African American counterparts and deliberately berate them in front of everyone else. Peppermint had zero patience for plaintiff and her similarly situated black African American counterparts. Peppermint's tone and countenance routinely different from when she spoke to or engaged with plaintiff's white Caucasian counterparts. Peppermint's comments and conduct were discriminatory, given that she did not treat white and Caucasian WE employees in this manner. Peppermint's comments and conduct had the purpose and effect of humiliating and intimidating plaintiff, and their severity and improvisations dramatically altered plaintiff's work environment for the workers. However, despite plaintiff's complaint, WWE failed to make any immediate and appropriate corrective action in response. Aaron says she was the only black woman. She wasn't the only black woman who was wrongfully fired from WWE's writing staff, but she said led to an investigation. Abrams detailed being interviewed by HR, but says again her concerns weren't heard. In around November 2021, a black female writer assistant was fired after reporting WWE lead writer Callahan for creating a racially hostile environment against African American employees. Shortly thereafter, WWE questioned plaintiff about her experience with Callahan, purposely pursuant to an investigation into the said black females wrestlers as black female writers assistant protected content. Plaintiff was asked if she witnessed or was the victim of harassment on the creative team. Plaintiff described discrimination and hostile work environment she had been subjected to by Peppermint and had witnessed by Peppermint towards other minority employees. At a different time, plaintiff received a call from WWE human resource representatives. They said it was brought to our attention that you called some pitches racist, and I want to know if it was directed at you or a part of the direction for a storyline. Plaintiff told him it was a storyline, but that it came from WWE lead writer Callahan. So it really shouldn't have been said once, let alone twice. No matter serious or in jest, Plaintiff told them it was an offensive joke. However, WWE Human Resources kept repeating, but was it said about you? WWE never agreed that it shouldn't have been said at all by someone of authority. WWE also never asked if Plaintiff was okay after hearing those racist and sexist pitches. Aaron says Callahan made casual, racially discriminating comments about a Muslim wrestler. The complaint doesn't make clear who the wrestler was, but goes on to detail a love storyline pitch she made with Silvers. Abrams says she and Silvers were the only black writers on the team at the time. The storyline would involve wrestlers Aaliyah, Mansoor, and Angel Garcia. Mr. Silvers and plaintiff pitched Mansoor had a secret that he's keeping from Aaliyah. Callahan disagreed with the secret Mrs. Silvers and plaintiff wanted for the character. Instead, Callahan suggests, how about his secret is he behind the 9/11 attacks? Mr. Silvers never relaxed and said, let's not do that. Let's talk about the other part of the pitch. Callahan said, oh, I guess you're the lead writer now. Mr. Silver agreed. Then Mr. Silvers again laughed nervously and said, for just this moment, can we talk about something else? Following this, whatever the writer asked Callahan a question, he would reply, ask Ms. Silvers. She's the lead writer now. Callahan comments and conduct in this regard were clearly discriminatory given plaintiffs' similarly situated white Caucasian counterparts were not treated in this manner. Additionally, Heller shared a sexist pitch for a Muslim female wrestler wherein that the said female wrestler lacked authority over her own mind and body. Excuse me. Again, Mrs. Silvers and plaintiff created a love storyline between wrestlers Aaliyah, Mansoor, and Angel Garza. In this pitch, Aaliyah and Mansoor were meant to fall in love while a jealous Angel tries to break them up. The pitch made Aaliyah appear intelligent and confident in herself and desires, containing Aaliyah speaking up for herself against both Angel and Mansoor and have her love and affection earned. Mrs. Silvers and plaintiff pitched this storyline to Heller, which expressed confusion about Aaliyah and her choices, particularly her never wanting to be with Angel, who is obviously the villain in the story. Heller was also confused that Aaliyah wasn't crying on the stairs after her breakup with Mansoor. Heller then counterpitched that plaintiff make the storyline love triangle, objectifying and bimbifying Aaliyah. Heller's sexist counterpicks included Angel being forward and aggressive in his efforts to date Aaliyah being easily swayed by Angel's evil tactics, and Aaliyah being confused about which side she should date, obfuscating between two men until the end of the storyline. Helen and Kellen made these discriminatory comments while plaintiff and other black African American employees were in his presence in the writers' room. Helen and Callahan's comments and conduct were clearly discriminatory. Plaintiff immediately complained about these racially discriminatory comments. Plaintiff spoke up and asked, doesn't that take away Aaliyah's agency? Plaintiff told Heller that she wanted to make a pitch that was more feminist, especially because Aaliyah's character is already marketed as being super hot. Plaintiff, along with a number of co-workers, including Ms. Silvers and Mr. Chad Barbers, also complained about the discriminatory nature of the lead writer's comments. This led Abrams and Silvers meeting with Christine Luberno, WWE's senior vice president of creative writing. Luberno met with plaintiff and Ms. Silvers and deliberately downplayed Heller's and Callahan's discriminatory remarks by claiming that she heard it was a joke and wacky things are said in the writers' room all the time. When plaintiff indicated that it doesn't make it okay, Luberno responded, I know, but look at the ways we're making in the company. 4 years ago, no women worked on the writers' team. Bigotry and low expectations, ladies and gentlemen. We just got to keep getting lower and lower. Liverpool followed up and told plaintiffs she was doing a great job and that picture and Mr. McMahon and Miss McMahon love plaintiff writing, but plaintiffs should be careful to pick and choose plaintiffs' battles. I think that's Stephanie, by the way. The remainder of the complaint outlines Abrams firing after taking a commemorative chair at WrestleMania in April 2022. She says Peppermint told the writers' room that they could take a chair after the event was over. Another writer, Michael Crispin, has said the writers were allowed to take chairs at the prior WrestleMania, according to Abrams, and Peppermint recounted another employee checking a chair at the airport. Multiple white male employees took their chairs as they left WrestleMania, Abrams claims, but they weren't reprimanded. Abrams said her firing on or about April 7th, 2022, for purposely taking a commemorative chair wasn't the reason for her dismissal. She alleges she was targeted for a pretextual termination by WWE's executive management team and her direct supervisors. Abrams says she had trouble finding employment after WWE due to defendants' discrimination and defamatory statements regarding her work performance. Abrams was seeking an award in damages in amount to be determined at trial. We reached out for WWE for comment, but haven't reached a response. Abrams is represented by the Cochran firm. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not surprised by all of this. Looking at, again, just see Shane Thorne basically kind of hunt Reggie. Reminded me a bit about the whole 24/7 debacles of Reggie trying to outrun everybody. You can see there was probably a bit of shades of that right there when they did that storyline of Reggie being the 24/7 champion. Apollo Crews being directed to speak in Nigerian accent, which I knew this was going to be a disrespectful and terrible thing. I knew it, and they did this. It was basically a forced type of thing. And now he's basically, like I said, right back to normal in NXT. Reggie dressing in drag, of course, because, I mean, a black man in the dress, that sort of stuff, taking away their manhood and making them look like, fools and clowns and everything, which is just right up their alley. and just all these other things. And then disrespecting black women, having the same type of stupid, dumb, manufactured ghetto stuff that has been broadcasted by multiple, companies and white men with suits and everything else, not knowing anything about the history of black people, but much less black women, and they'll say, "Oh, it's just wrestling. Who cares?" No, I'm tired of that type of the low bar of this. Like, I mean, I want to have have this raised up. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm sick and tired of having this racism of these wool rich white men who can do everything else. And by the way, I don't think this is going to change anytime soon because again with the fusion of Endeavor, WE Endeavor, and everything else, um, just having their executives. I mean, look at this management team. Let's see if I can find it. A better picture. Oh, there it is. There it is. Let me just switch it right here for all of y'all. Look at this. With the new board. Look at this, man. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. You think anything's going to change now? You think anything's going to change if you're black and everything else? Look at this. Look at this board. And you're going to tell me anything is going to directly change? Anything is going to directly change? I dare you to say that. I double dare you to say that. It's not going to happen. It is not going to happen. All right, let's see. All right, I want to make sure I saw a little about that. The thing froze, but I'll probably cut that out for the single thing. But yeah, look at the changes. You think anything is going to change? No. Look at, like I said, look at this management team. Everybody, look at it. You got Dana, white privilege, slapping his wife, not doing anything. Vince McMahon, just, I moved on from all these type of things. I moved on, you know, moved on for, helping Jimmy Snuka murder that girl. He moved on for the Ring Boy scandal. He moved on from basically helping kill Owen Hart. He moved on from all these other things, man. He moved on. And all those women and everything else. Oh, by the way, allegedly and everything else, so I don't get sued. But yeah, they moved on. They all move on. They ain't gonna do anything. But the people up there, WE, the black women, and Arab black men, black women, the Arab men and women, and Latino men and women. I feel bad for you. The people in that company who try to do the best they can. But I think it's going to be a new batch of hell with these men here on top. And that's what worries me. And those worries are going to come to light, and there's going to be more stories like this. But that's just my personal opinion. I want to hear what you say in the comment section. All right? Say in the comment section below. Anyway, we're going to take a small break, and we're going to talk about UK blocking Microsoft and Activision's deal. After this small little break here, live on the Dukect Lounge, we'll be right back right after this here on TalkShoe.com and on YouTube.com. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sticking with me, Dukect. We'll be right back right after this.